I have no idea what to vlog about today. Help me. How do you like my hat? What should Punkt do when planning and producing the next iteration of the Punkt MP02 phone, the Punkt MP03, in order to produce a better phone and in order to eradicate all the shortcomings of the MP02? Let's find out. And of course the first thing they should correct is the battery life. The MP02 is very good as a design of the phone and as some thoughts that have been put into the designing and producing it, but it has a very lackluster battery life compared to the lack of features the phone has. And so you know, if you have a smartphone that pretty much is able to go 2 full days without being charged, and then you cut off 95% of the functionality of this smartphone, and you have this dumb phone like Punkt MP02 is, and then you see that this phone is capable of going 3 days without being charged, well, you know, the amount of functionality that has been cut versus the slightly prolongated battery life is nothing to write home about, you know. And so I think this is the first thing to be addressed. And of course the MP02 has a far better battery life than the Lite Phone 2, for example. But there's also phones like the Unihertz Atom XL, which I was using, that can go 5 or 6 days without being charged. And so why not Punkt? I think that the majority of this battery drain is caused actually by Android, which runs under the hood of the system built by Punkt. And I think that if they made a proprietary system which would be much more integrated with the hardware of the phone and which would be much more battery efficient as a consequence of that integration, it could very well be a phone that would go 1 or 2 weeks without being charged. Also, another thing is this phone doesn't have to be so small. I think that it could be longer, it could be thicker, and nothing could happen. So I hope that the MP03 will have a bigger battery and will have a much longer battery life, because this is the first thing that shocked me when I started to using it. The second thing they should improve is the lack of a weather sealing in the phone. And I know that this is pretty much very difficult to achieve, since the phone has a lot of buttons, and the fact that you can press those buttons make it very difficult to weather seal it. But you know, there's for example the Unihertz Titan XL, which has a QWERTY keyboard and it's weather sealed, so it's possible. So weather sealing would be nice, because right now you know, when you are answering the phone in the rain or you drop your phone in the snow, it's always a worry. Will it work? And another thing that is closely related to the weather sealing is that you should add the headphone jack to the phone, because so this is number 3. The headphone jack should be added, because using dongles today that transform USB-C into a mini jack port, it's so iPhone-y. So I would really love to have a headphone jack, especially that in the realm of people who are using such minimalist phones. I suppose that a lot of people like to use headphones, wired headphones, in order not to to use Bluetooth. And I think that also a lot of people actually care about sound quality, and so they have quite good headphones that could be used to make phone calls. Another thing that I would personally do, and you can find a video about that some time ago, is that I would personally talk to Apple in order to make an MP03 with iOS. Oh my god! Yeah, I would do it. And you know why? Because the form factor of the phone, of the MP03, would limit the possibility to using apps. You would be pretty much unable to use Instagram even if you downloaded it on the phone. And you would be unable to write long text messages, but the fact that you would have iOS underneath with the possibility to pair the phone to an iPad or a MacBook and using, for example, the possibility to write SMS messages from the computer or from a bigger keyboard in general would be very, very good. And also it would solve my personal problem. I am using financial apps, I am using two-factor authentication apps that I prefer using on iOS, and so I cannot settle just on using the Punkt because I don't have those apps. And even if Punkt was based on Android, it would not be ideal also because Android apps don't run as good as well as iOS apps. That's the truth. And so I would really buy, and I would buy it for, I don't know, $700, no problem. I would buy a Punkt MP03 with iOS and with the possibility to use iOS apps. We'll see. Maybe Mr. Peter could call Tim Cook and talk about that. How nice would it be? And the integration of iOS would pretty much solve all the major problems that this device has. So it would have better battery life, it would have an excellent possibility to use some useful apps, it would have support of the best programmers in the world, basically. How cool is that? You would be able still to use Pigeon, for example, because you have Signal on iOS, no problem. But you could also use something else that would come in the future to the market, but you don't have it right now. And it would also take a lot of the weight from the shoulders of the Punkt team in order to develop the phone, to update the software, etc. So I think it's a win-win for the clients and for the company. Maybe not for Apple, but I think that Apple would be I think that Apple could be interested in releasing such a dumb phone with a focus on privacy and with a focus on respecting people's lives and people's priorities. So Apple, let's do it. And Punkt, please, Peter, talk to Tim Cook. It would be so nice. Okay, if you have some ideas what could be in the next iteration of the Punkt MP0 something phone, let me know in the comments. I will send it to Punkt. Well. buy some crypto that is resistant to crisis, consider Terra Luna. Terra Luna has been very well performing during the last crashes of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana and everything else.